What's up, everybody? Tobin and Shanna here, 5M Family Homestead channel. We have escaped the kids and the dogs, and we're in the shop. This has become our kind of our new
oasis
getaway area, at least until it gets hot. Because right now it's cool today, but this shop gets really hot in the summertime. So we may be making more videos here for at least the next month or two.
Well, we have an aesthetically pleasing backdrop that
yes, yeah. The shop's finally finished. So. Well, today, guys, when y'all are watching this video, it is our 20th wedding anniversary. We've been married 20 years.
20 years. I remember when we first got married that like 20 years was the milestone that I wanted to reach. Like, I know every year when you're married is a milestone, but for me it felt like 20 years was, I don't know, it's like you made it.
Yeah. So we're gonna do. We just wanted to celebrate it and bring y'all, and kind of include y'all in it. So we were just gonna. I printed off. Or I got some pictures on my, not pictures. I've got some cool questions on my phone that we're gonna ask each other, just about each other and stuff like that. And then just yeah. So it's been both of us came from families that were divorced. So like when we first got married, it was important for us to make our marriage work. So
oh my gosh, am I gonna get
what are you're already crying?
Well, it's just, yeah, I think that the 20-year mark for me was important because of where you and I came from.
Yeah. Well, so both of our parents were divorced, but what's crazy is all of our grandparents were married, and not, well, all of our grandparents that we included when we say our grandparents were married and had very long relationships. But then our parents were all divorced. So
except my parents. So my biological father and my mother were divorced. But my parents, who I call my parents, have been married 31 years.
Yes.
But your parents never remarried. No. And stayed married.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was important for us. So, and the other thing is, there's no illusion that just because we made the 20-year mark that if we don't continue to work on it, we'll make it. We have couples around us that are been married as close as long as we have, that are that have gotten divorced. So there's no guarantee. We have to continue to work at it. But yeah. So yeah.
Well, see. But the other thing is, him and I have been married 20 years, but we've actually been together dating for close to 25 years.
Yes, we met, we were 16? Mm-hmm. Oh, about to be 17. And
well, yeah, because January we met, well, December we met, and then you turned 17 in March. I turned 17 in May, so kind of 16 and a half-ish.
Yep, so never been apart, never on a break, never split up, nothing.
On a break. We can never say we were on a break. Yeah,
I get that from friends who on a break.
No, I was gonna tell them what reference was that, and you went off and did it. Yeah. That's okay. That's all right.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, and it has not been easy.
Yeah.
I mean, not been easy at all. Yeah. Case in point, we've had one of the hardest weeks, parenting-wise, and just together, like, parenting-wise, which then rolls over to your marriage-wise. It's probably been one of the more challenging weeks that we've had.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that today, or the other day, like, people say, like, we've been married happily for 20 years. Like, if you look at it from this, looking back, yes. Overall, we've been happily married, but there's been a lot of times we were married and we were unhappily married in the moment. Over the whole period, I think you can mark it off as very happily married. But there was a lot of times where we weren't. It wasn't easy. I mean, it was a lot of, we both came from, with our parents being divorced and having some issues with both of us with our biological fathers. We had a lot of issues, a lot of baggage that they brought and caused issues in our lives, even as young adults, and even into just over the last, several years. So, trying to deal with that and not project it, onto each other, and iron all that out. You know, you come from like everybody. I think when you're growing up, you just assume that everybody else lives the same kind of life as you do, and that what you go through is normal, and it's not always normal. So, you know, then growing up and trying to navigate. I mean, we did grow up together. We met when we were 16. So, you know, there's a lot of life lessons that we didn't know, and we figured out as we got married and into life, and realized that, you know, like all families don't do this one thing or that thing, you know, and we had to like kind of figure, you know, find our way through all of it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's exactly right. Because we were babies when we met. Like, I can't imagine our kids right now meeting someone. Sarah's almost 16. She'll be 16 in a month. Finding her person now and being with, like, it just, because she's still so young. Yeah. And to know that we met when we look back, and it's like, it really is amazing, actually, that we navigated through some very, very tough situations, times and all of that stuff. A lot of it stemming from our biological fathers, like he said. Both of them. I mean, my biological father's passed away, so some of mine's not as heavy as it used to be, but then there's, you know, and it peaks its head, and you try your best not to take it out on the other. And sometimes you have to remember where the pain comes from. So anyways, all that to say, we didn't have a book to go by, and we did not have, like he said, all of our grandparents, my parents, my grandparents, my mom's parents, I'll try not to get emotional, were married over 60 years when we lost my grandfather. And then, so my parents have been married for 61 years, and my stepdad's parents, they're both passed, but they were married like 50 years, I think. So, and I was fortunate enough to have them in my life. When I turned 10, they came into my life. So they're my grandparents as well. And then his Granny Bo and Papa were how long?
30, 40 years, something like that.
More than 40.
My Papa Herman was actually married before.
Well, yeah, but they had been married a long time.
I don't know, but I mean a long time. And then my mom's parents were married 50 years.
Yeah. So like we came from good marriages, you know. Yeah. And then by no control of our parents, it just, anyways, there was no manual. Yeah. And we didn't have really anything to look up to. And so we've had to figure this out along the way. Yeah. And it has been a very wild ride. Then you throw teenagers into it. Yeah. And that will just...
Yeah, kids in general. I mean, it was like, it almost felt like, you know, I was naive, but I felt like, all right, we got this marriage thing, we got it figured out. We've been married for 4 or 5 years when we had Sarah, 4 years, something like that. And
I don't even remember.
And because we were married when we were 21, and we had her when we were 25, so 4 years probably. It was like, all right, 4 years, we got this, like. And then you throw an infant into the mix, and it's like...
You don't got nothing.
And then, not only an infant, a very difficult, I mean, by far our most difficult child. Just
strong-willed.
Yeah, very strong-willed.
Independent.
Very, you know, and we were new parents, and we had no clue what we were doing. So then we went for another 4 or 5 years with her, and then we had Reed, and then throwing that into it, and into a child, Sarah being already so independent and kind of like lived as an only child for 4 or 5 years, and then throwing him in, and that was got really, really rough. And then we're like, all right, we got 2. We can do this. We can keep our head above water, you know, when things are great. And then surprise, Ethan comes along.
I got pregnant when I was 10 months, when Reed was 10 months old.
Yes.
I got pregnant with Easton, and we found out when Easton returned a year old, and we found out 3 weeks later I was pregnant with Easton. Yeah. So the boys are 22 months apart. Yeah. And talk about like...
And so, you know, I think that's one thing that like every time that I've felt like, all right, we got it going now. Like, don't think that, because
God will throw you just like...
Yeah, like right now, even with our kids, like the age they're at now, I was thinking the other day, like, it's so nice because they're all like, you know, when they're young, you got to get bags and this and that and all the stuff you got to carry. Now it's like, hey, get in the truck, let's go. And they can get in the truck and they go. But I was thinking like, it's so nice, but I don't want to take that for granted because you could things can change really quick. So, but
yeah. So that's our
20 years, 3 kids. Yep. So we're gonna do some questions.
Yeah.
Just fun questions, asking each other stuff about our childhood, about what we like things about each other. But first, we're gonna just like, if you had to give somebody a couple that is engaged, a young couple about to get married, like if you could give them your one piece of advice after being married for 20 years, what would it be?
So you and I have been tossing this video around for the last week, and you had mentioned that. And so I've been thinking about it, and I think one of the most important things for us is knowing each other's love languages.
Oh, that's good.
For me.
No, that's great. Yeah.
I feel like we had done a newlywed Sunday school class when we first got married.
Yes.
And our Sunday school teachers really told us the importance of knowing the love languages of each other and our kids. And
hold on, I'm sorry. I'm gonna silence my phone.
So what does that mean? What is a love language? And so him and I really, him more than me, are good at like really researching things and figuring out more to better ourselves. I think we pride ourselves into really trying to figure out how to fix solutions within each other. Anyways,
within ourselves.
That helps each other. Yeah. So anyways, we did the research on the book, and I think knowing each other's love languages, your spouse's love language, is crucial.
Yes.
Because if your emotional tank is not being filled by your spouse, I think that's where a lot of the friction can be caused. And I think there's a balance there. If you are fulfilling your spouse's emotional tank, meeting their love language, and vice versa, I really truly believe that just kind of levels everything out. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect and it's not gonna be rocky, but I do feel like, his love language is physical touch. My love language is quality time and words of affirmation. His is also, I think, quality time as well. But his love language is not mine and mine is not his, so we have to work really hard to make sure we meet the other's love language. Yep. But I do think that is a turning point, and then go even deeper, knowing your kids' love languages.
She's, when she gives me words of affirmation, that's her love language, so that is a way that she's giving me love in that way, with the kids, with everything. So if you haven't, there is a book, The 5 Love Languages. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend you read it and do some research on it, because like with me, with physical touch being my love language, just touching, hugging, things like that, when I do that to her, she doesn't feel that as love, especially in the beginning of our marriage, because she didn't know that's what I was doing. So a lot of times people in a relationship, you can think you're showing them love, but that's just not how they receive love. So and that can, and then like the emotional tank, we talk about that a lot with our kids, like their emotional tank is full or not full, and your emotional tank gets full by receiving love.
Yeah.
So
in the way that you receive love differently than other people.
Yes.
So when I maybe walk by him and just grab his arm, or an unprompted hug, or whatever else, that to him is me saying to him, I love you. And then when he just sends me a text in the morning and says, I love you, you're a great mom, he knows and to me, I feel loved by him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my advice.
So mine would be, and I thought about this a lot too, it's been neat, like getting ready for this video, because it's caused us both to be doing a lot of thinking about things, but I mean, like not just kids and all the other things, like about relationships.
I don't know why that was so funny.
But mine would be, and we learned this, we went through Financial Peace University with Dave Ramsey. We went through the whole, I read all the books, then we applied a lot of that to our lives. We got out of debt. But I don't listen to Dave Ramsey a lot anymore or watch him, but a lot of the things we learned from that, we still apply in our lives today. One of the things that he said, and I think it's very true, and it was, I don't know, we didn't do this we did this before I ever heard it from Dave Ramsey, but just the 4 or 5 core things in your life, you either got to be on the same page with them, or you got to figure out, the balance or the compromise on those things to go forward. Like for religion, how you handle your in-laws and family, like money is a gigantic one. What else? You know, just like
kids, parenting.
parenting. Yeah, like I don't know how many friends we have. People, not friends, but people that we know that one wants to parent this way, one wants to parent this way, and they don't parent because neither one of them, you know, can you know, one of them's too harsh, one of them's too, you know, and they don't find a compromise on that, and everybody suffers, you know. And the same thing with money. If you can't, you know, if you can't just agree upon how we're going to spend our money and how we're going to deal with that.
Sorry, we got like super distracted.
The helicopter or something flew over. But if you can't, you know, like, so money, parenting, religion, family, what else? I know, I feel like I'm missing something.
Probably, but I think that's
you get the
core.
gist. Yeah, it's just getting on the same page with those. We didn't really go to marriage counseling.
No.
We met with the pastor that married us. We met with him a few times, and he did give us some advice and some, you know, direction and things. But yeah, that would be my advice to a couple that's about to get married, is before you get married or very early on in your marriage, just get all that stuff ironed out and get on the same page and go forward, because if not, those are always going to be conflicts.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you're on the same
Yeah,
page about
sure.
them, they can be conflicts, but especially if you're not on.
Well, we're learning that with parenting right now.
Yeah.
I mean, him and I have at the core
Yeah.
the same values when it comes to parenting. We have the same desires, we have want the same outcome. But he's a little bit more firm, and I'm a little bit more lenient, just because as a mother, you know, like the saying goes, I was talking to this to my counselor the other day, which is true. The saying goes, "This hurts me more than it hurts you." Well, anytime my kids get hurt or punished, it hurts me more. So finding that balance is really important.
Yeah.
And just communication is another thing. Just staying like open communication. Make sure you're communicating with each other. So he just stopped the video and asked if I cared. If you guys know, I went to counseling, and I don't care. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I've gone to a counselor most of my adult life, and I think it's good for everybody. So I have no shame in it whatsoever. But thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
So that's all. That's all of our advice, you think?
I mean, that's like throwing a dart at something, but
and I, you know, just to be fair, I don't, you know, I don't feel like there's probably people out there that have been married 20 years and are much more qualified to speak on it, but that's just from our perspective.
Because listen, this morning I was making breakfast, and I didn't like him too much this morning when I was making breakfast, if we're gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like knowing, like when you're, like I remember when we went to a parenting Sunday school class for a long time, and had great Sunday school teachers, and that was for our raising kids and everything, that was a great resource for us. And one of the things, I mean, they taught us, I can't even begin to explain what we learned from, he was a professor at UNT, our Sunday school teacher, and he was in
he founded play therapy. He was one of the founders of play therapy.
That's what he was a professor for. And so we had an awesome resource. But one of the things that they taught us was when your child's acting out, or your spouse, I guess it could apply to your spouse, use the HALT. HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And
in the Mathis house, it's usually hungry.
Yeah, this morning.
Wait, that's so funny that you said that. I forgot about that, because he was telling Reed about Reed's got a baseball game today in a tournament. We're just trying to find teachable moments of him. Reed in the dugout, he gets a little hot-headed sometimes, and we're just trying to teach him a good way to like harness that. And David said, 9 times out of 10, when you're in the dugout and you're upset, you're hungry, because Reed doesn't want to eat before a game. And so I like scooped in, and I was like, and 9 times out of 10, when your dad has an attitude, it's because he's hungry. So
that's the truth. Yeah,
it's funny.
But yeah, so I don't know, what did we get off on that for?
Oh, just talk about like.
Oh, like yeah.
You don't always like your spouse.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I mean, I do like you a lot.
I'm glad.
But I didn't really this morning, to be honest. If we're going to be honest, I did not like him this morning.
I ate, and she likes me now. So.
That's how it always is, isn't it?
All right, questions.
Questions. Dun, dun, dun. I haven't seen these questions, by the way. He has been working, like I said, we've had a really rough week.
There's a lot of things
parenting-wise. Yeah. And so he's kind of taking the lead on this. So he's had time to think of his questions.
Yeah, answering.
So,
Well, I went to a couple different websites, got some fun questions. Some of them are about each other, some of them are about our childhood. Just I figured it'd be fun to answer them with y'all here. So, I'll try not to do anything that makes Shanna cry.
Oh, it's inevitable. Yeah, when you get older too, you cry a lot. I used to make fun of my mom all the time for crying, and I'm now her. So.
How did you get to school when you were young?
The bus.
The bus.
Favorite time.
Yeah. I rode the bus for a few years, but for whatever reason, I grew up next to my grandparents, and my grandfather was great at finding 30-year-old cars that were in great condition but weren't cool to ride to school in, and my mom would drive them. So I went to school. I'm not kidding you. This may age me. These cars were made probably before I was born, but I drove to school in a AMC Gremlin and an AMC Hornet. I'll try to find a picture of them and put them up here for you so you can see what it was like. But so yeah, I'm very thankful for my mom. She did what she did for me. But yeah, we drove old beater cars, and I remember that most of all. But I do remember a few years riding the bus.
Well, I mean, my mom was a single mom up until we were 10 years old, and then but up until that point, I don't really remember much, but I do remember when my parents moved us into a neighborhood that I grew up in that I still to this day love. But we rode the bus and we would meet on the corner. That was my favorite time, because there would be like 20 of us from the neighborhood meeting at the bus stop. Yeah. And I don't know, it was always cool until I turned 16, and then I started driving myself.
Shannon knows the answer to this question. I don't know that for her, but did you have a celebrity crush, a childhood celebrity crush?
Why don't you go ahead and tell him yours?
No, you know.
Oh yeah, I was gonna marry Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was gonna marry him.
Topanga from, what's the name of that show?
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. And then Kelly from
Saved by the Bell?
Saved by the Bell. Yeah.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. They were both dark haired.
I was gonna say, you like those brunettes, don't you?
Yeah. How did you spend your free time as a kid?
I don't know. I hung out with my friends a lot. Just going to my friend's house, trying on each other's clothes. I mean, I was in sports when I was in high school or middle school. We met so young that like there was a little bit of a gap there, and then we were always together. So my childhood was just playing with my friends, really, hanging out with my friends.
So I was going through a bunch of pictures my mom gave us several years ago to find the pictures that I showed at the beginning of this video of me and her when we were in high school and getting married, like newlyweds and stuff. And like my mom had like put all the pictures in chronological order by year, and like from the time I was 4 until I was like 15 or 16, like every picture I'm holding a fish. Like I lived like, there was a gigantic pond that we had access to fish at that was about 500 yards from our house, and then we lived within walking distance of the lake. So I fished with my grandfather, my friends, all the time. And then it wasn't for that, if not doing that, then me and my friends were doing, just probably some things you shouldn't do as a kid, and just getting into trouble and running around the neighborhoods. And I saw a picture the other day where it showed like a front yard like in the 80s with a bunch of bicycles in the front yard, and so that's how you knew where all your friends were.
Oh yeah. So if you ask my friend, she watches this video, so Deborah, anyways, she still watches this, but you can ask her today. I texted her just about a couple weeks ago and said, I wish we could still meet at the stop sign, because that was our thing. We would ask at night when we shouldn't have been, should be getting ready to bed, can I go meet Deborah at the stop sign? Because we lived like
it was equal distance.
Yeah, and we would meet at the stop sign, and she'd let me borrow her shoes or whatever. But yeah, that was a time where it truly was, for me, I had to be home when the street lights came on. Like that really was. But we were always riding bikes, and so.
Let's see. What big dream do you most want to pursue?
Oh gosh. Have you thought about this one?
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say I don't What big dream?
I can answer first if you want to.
I want this YouTube channel. It's not even for me though. Like for me, I told him this the other day. I want this YouTube channel because of how hard he works. Because YouTube is not just about videoing, putting it on YouTube and it's done. There's a lot to it. So my hope and my dream is that it takes off to one day his hard work pays off. I think that is a big dream of mine. Honestly, I don't think much about myself in my dreams. I don't. Is it not the truth?
Because you're a mom and a good mom. And
I want my kids to leave this house and want to come back.
Yeah, that's a good one. And be like positive humans to this.
Yeah, not be a bunch of jerk faces in society. That's what I want.
For me, like, we just turned 40, so I don't know why, but I've been thinking like a lot.
We didn't just turn 40, babe.
Okay, we just turned 41. I just turned
Yeah.
41. She's about to turn 41. But for some reason, for the last 6 months or a year, I've been thinking a lot about turning 50. And I just, like, where do I want to be when I turn 50? And, like, the YouTube thing is kind of like a side revenue, side gig for us, along with our other side business we have. And I want to be able to, like, I will never retire, but I would like to be able to retire from my, like, corporate day job at somewhere around 50 and be able to, hopefully the money we make from our business and from YouTube would be enough that I could do that. And I would never retire, but I could at least maybe live a little more flexible lifestyle, because at that time the boys will be, or getting close to being out of high school, if they're not out of high school. And
no, Reed will be 20 or 21.
Okay,
in
so
10 years.
Wow. And then and then just so that I could do things with them, at that age, because that'll be an age where they're, we could, maybe travel and just do fun things. So
let me throw another one. Sarah will be 26.
Wow. No, we'll be old.
Gosh. No offense to 50-year-olds. He just offended y'all. I'm sorry.
No, I'm be old because our kids are old, not because of the age. Okay, that's a good one. Am I an extrovert or an introvert?
I didn't have to finish that. You are an introvert. The saying goes, opposites attract can never be more true than for me and him.
Yes.
He is very much an introvert. He is.
Which is funny because we do this. But,
yeah, but you don't have people in front of you.
Yeah, I
like if you had 20 people watching you right now, you'd be like, this wouldn't be you wouldn't be raw like you are right now.
Maybe so, but I do good. Like, I have to do presentations and stuff at work occasionally. I do good with stuff like that. Like, I do good at public speaking, but like on an intimate level, maybe it would be different. But yeah, I'm definitely an introvert. I don't like real good, authentic friendships are very, very rare, and it's hard for me to. I just like those, but there's just not very many of them out there. So, at least in my case. So, so to answer the question the other way, she is very much the extrovert. Like we were like, she's been talking about wanting to buy a newer car, and last night at Chili's on her date night, she wanted to go ask the people parked next to us if she could look in their car to see if she liked it or not. And I
don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I was like, no, you can't go over there and just ask strangers to look in their car.
I mean, it was just briefly. I just need to see if I want to pursue that car or not. Is it going to be big enough?
Yeah.
Reed is an introvert or an extrovert like me.
Very much.
And then Sarah's an introvert like him.
Extrovert.
No, you're an introvert. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then Easton's a mixture of both.
Yeah, he's shy sometimes, but then sometimes very out.
And it causes conflict because you can ask him and you can ask my mom. I don't go anywhere where I don't know someone.
Oh, yeah, like we went to the baseball game in town this week, and like I saw her the last 5 minutes of the baseball game because she was just like going from like one person to the next person, to the next person, to the next person, talking to them. We were somewhere else in town recently. It's the same thing. Like, she knows everybody.
Well, I don't even have to be in town. I can go into Denton. I can go anywhere, and I can know anyone. And I will talk. And they all my whole family just hates and makes fun of me for talking too much.
They don't hate you.
Oh, they do. Because I get in the car and they're like, "Well, we gotta wait for mom. Here we go." Yeah.
All right. This is a good one. Between the two of us, who is better with money? That's like better. I don't know if that's the right way to phrase the question, but okay. Between the two of us, who is more frugal?
Me.
But what's weird, I was thinking about that earlier this week, is like it used to be the opposite. In the beginning of our marriage, it was very much the opposite. I was more frugal and felt like a lot of times I was, not trying to rein her in, but kind of trying to like divert, And then somewhere along the way, it's completely switched, and I'm not, neither one of us over our marriage has been just crazy with money, but now I'm the one that's more like, babe, just go buy it. Like I think I showed in one of our videos recently, like she found the pool pump. She saved like $300-400, drove an hour to go get it off of Facebook Marketplace, and then like the pool ladder. Like she's like been looking for a pool ladder for like 3 months trying to find a deal on one. I'm like, just go buy one, But I'm glad. I mean, I think that balances each other out.
Well, I think in the early on in our marriage, we both were working, and then when I had Sarah, we decided to stay home, and I knew as my role in our marriage and to do right by him being the sole provider of our family, I wanted to be what's the word, good stewards of our money. And so that has always been for me, just being good stewards of money. It's our money, and I know that, but it's still, I don't want to just be crazy with our money when you're the sole provider, even though he is. My mom and the kids joke all the time that I have to be careful to say that I want something because he will just show up with it. Like it's a joke now that, Mom, you keep saying you want a new car and Dad's gonna just pull up with one. So he does spoil me. He buys a lot of my stuff for me because I won't buy it for myself.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And then he buys a lot of his own stuff because I don't know, some of the stuff he buys, I can't help with that.
It's only like,
well, it's
pews and hunting related stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more, and then I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I can tell you it's going to be pretty long.
Yeah.
So, beach vacation or mountain skiing?
1, 2, 3.
Beach vacation. Hands down. I would like take me to the beach.
We've done both.
Or the river. Like we're going to the river in a month down in the hill country of Texas. That's a lot of fun. But I don't know. As a kid, I always thought I'd love to go up in the mountains. But we went on a vacation to Colorado, and it was just, we are flatlanders, y'all.
Yeah.
We're not mountain folks. I got all that.
No, our kids didn't like it.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't like take me to the beach. Like put a umbrella drink in my hand, put me in the beach, watching the sunset at the beach. Like I loved it.
We go to Galveston this summer, and our family is stoked. Yeah. I mean,
and I know
people think Galveston isn't really the beach. We could go to Florida. We could go to Alabama. We know we could go to those places.
You're getting all huffy with
Well, no, because people will come back and say, that's not really a beach. And I just want y'all to know we have the option to go there.
We actually,
but we choose Galveston
we actually
every
looked into
time.
going to Florida, but with everything that's going on, we didn't know at the time if it'd get worse or get better. So we went with Galveston. We love Galveston. It's our place. We know, we know all the restaurants we like to go to and where we want to hang out and stuff. So yeah, by far we're beach people. Like I said, Colorado was,
beautiful.
It was it's beautiful. It's just not. We're just flatlanders.
It's crazy though. If you give our kids a choice between like Florida, Alabama, and Galveston, they're gonna pick Galveston every time.
Probably so. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. Okay. How do I like to relax? We're asking each other this question.
Tobin doesn't relax. He doesn't know how to. That is the honest truth. The only time I can get him to relax is when we go on a cruise because he is confined to a boat and he can't do anything except relax because he has no obligations. And Saturday and Sunday mornings, if we don't have a lot to do, our kids are older now, they sleep in a lot later. And so we have a couple hours in the mornings when we wake up and he sits in the bed and drinks his coffee and stuff like that. But then at one point this morning we were like, he's like, we gotta get up. And I was like, no, we don't. We have nowhere to be. So I wish he would relax more for his health and his sanity, but he won't. And I don't think he ever will. His papa was busy like that too. His papa was in his 70s outside tearing buildings down because he was bored.
Yeah, I'm fixing cars and stuff. So I always tell people, like, I love going on a cruise, but like that 5th day, I'm like, I want to go down to the engine room, like knock on the door, like y'all need help in here? I can help you fix something.
True.
I can drive. You may steer the ship. I'll steer it the rest of the way home if you need. Like I'm like, all right, I gotta get. I love it, but by the end of it, I'm like, I need to. I'm like I don't know. I almost feel like guilty when I relax. So, but her relaxing, how she likes to relax is like well, I guess for both of us, like having date nights and things like that. But like she said, Sunday mornings, and then just you're like you like to be comfortable on the couch watching a show or something like that.
Which it doesn't happen very often.
Or every now and then go to pedicure.
Yeah, I think the date night thing is really funny because sometimes he'll be like, "You're not talking very much," and I'm like, "I don't want to talk, and I don't really want to be talked to either." It's just sometimes just being with him and just not having to think and talk is all I need.
Yeah.
Because homeschooling all 3 kids now and just life in general, they're all 3 home all the time. I never get a break. Luckily for me, I don't require a lot of breaks, but I get to a point where I tell him, I'm like, yo, when you get home, I'm out.
Well, a lot of times I see that coming too.
Yeah,
but,
you're good about reading that.
But yeah, sometimes I don't. We're busy, but.
Are you going to show those pictures?
Yeah, I already showed them at the beginning of this video.
Oh, see.
Well, I've already, while y'all are watching this video's already been edited, and I put them in the beginning. I don't know, there's probably 6 or 8.
There's one in there that as soon as I find it, I'm gonna burn it.
I didn't actually. That one's not gonna be on here.
Good.
So I may add it now that you said that.
No,
guys. Well, yeah, I think I might add it on there.
No.
It's a fishing picture when we were in about 16.
Don't comment on the socks if y'all do. Easy on the comments.
But I know the one I showed were a rodeo somewhere. I rodeoed in high school and in my early 20s, and a lot of pictures I was going through was all us like traveling all over the place. Like pictures of us on a hotel balcony in Abilene, Texas, or in Oklahoma, or Guthrie, or somewhere.
I followed you everywhere.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite things when we were growing up.
I had a Capri camper on my truck, and we'd travel, and it was a lot of fun. And then we had kids. I kind of got out of it, but we started a business. Guys, I know this video is gonna be long, so we just wanted to share this with y'all. We've made we're kind of dedicated more to sharing more of our life on Facebook, not just on our
YouTube.
homestead. Did I say Facebook? I said Facebook. I'm old. On YouTube, and just so we wanted to kind of share this with y'all. So y'all do us a favor in the comments, tell us how long you've been married for, or like anybody in your family, your grandparents, or how long they were married for. It'd be cool to hear some wedding advice for us. Hey, if you've been married 50 years and you got wedding advice to offer us right now, we are all ears about it. So like I said in the beginning of the video, we're not naive to think that that we're on the downhill side of it. It's always a constant thing to keep working at. So and then if you're newlywed or about to get married, hopefully something that we shared might help y'all. And yeah.
I think that's it. I think by marriage, a lot of grace, a lot of patience, a lot of prayer, a lot of just having more in you to make it work, than having that to be stronger than the want to just leave. Yeah. I think it has to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there hasn't been times where like seemed like a good option.
Yeah, for both of us. Yeah.
But we fought harder. We wanted us together more than we don't want to be together.
Yeah, I think another thing, I'll say this, like in the beginning, like when you have I am an introvert. I don't talk a lot. When we're around people, I'm pretty quiet. But one thing that is, if in your marriage, if there's something there, if there's a problem, if there's a rift, if there's a, anything like that, turn the TV off, put your phones down, and talk about it. Like eye to eye, get their attention and talk about it, and hash it out now, because that's one thing is like hashing it out now, or you can figure out a little problem now, or you can wait till 6 months or a year from now and it's going to be a big problem, with a lot more emotion attached to it and stuff. So yeah, but guys, we hope y'all like this. We just want to share it with y'all. It was fun to do the questions. It really was. We need to do some more like that, more just general questions like that more often. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good conversation. So guys, if y'all haven't already, please subscribe. We're very thankful for all of our loyal subscribers and all the interaction we've gotten lately. And
Yeah. We're thankful.
Yeah.
Thankful for this little platform. You guys get to come into our lives, and I hope you guys let us into yours. I mean, in the comments, share your stories with us. I personally, I told him the other day, I could love nothing more when you guys share with us your stories, because I want to keep our channel as personable as possible.
Yeah, it's not as one-sided. So.
Yeah, like I want to hear from you guys. So,
Guys, thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see y'all again.
bye.